As the new year begins, many of us feel that familiar pull to start over. New resolutions, new plans, new promises to ourselves. And yet, if we're to be honest, most year's resolutions don't last. Not because people don't care, and not because they lack discipline. They fail because they're built on the wrong assumption that health is primarily a willpower problem. For many of us, especially later in life, our bodies are no longer neutral participants. They actively resist weight loss, amplify hunger, and defend an unhealthy status quo as if everything is just fine. Trying harder inside a system like that is exhausting, and it's discouraging. So this year, I want to talk about a different kind of resolution. If you're new here, welcome. My name is George Logan. I'm not a medical doctor, and this is not medical advice. I am a biological scientist who loves the data, and this channel exists to explore evidence-based tools for metabolic health, especially for those of us navigating aging, and in some cases, GLP-1 therapy later in life. We focus on the science, the physiology, and the long game, not hype, not fear, and not shortcuts. So with that in context in place, let's take a step back and talk about what really we're dealing with. Because before we decide how to change, we need to understand what's actually driving health and excess weight in the first place. And that brings me to the next slide. So if trying harder inside a resistance system is not the answer, what is? What if this year's resolution isn't about intensity, but alignment? Not about perfection, but sustainability. A final resolution to health, not as a sprint, but as a long-term commitment to vitality, strength, and resilience. Modern metabolic science has taught us something quite humbling. Health is shaped by biology first and behavior second. When biology is working against us, even the best intentions struggle to gain traction. But when biology is supported, healthy behaviors often follow naturally. And that's the lens I want to use as we talk about GLP-1 medications today. So for decades, we have framed obesity as the cause of metabolic disease. Excess weight causes insulin resistance. Excess weight causes heart disease. Excess weight causes diabetes. But emerging biology tells a more complex story. For many people, metabolic dysfunction comes first. Dysregulated appetite signaling, insulin resistance, altered gut-brain communication, a body that fiercely defends weight gain. In that scenario, weight gain is not the failure, it's the symptom. And this is where GLP-1 medications become informative. They reveal something important. When the underlying biology is supported, food noise quiets, appetite normalizes, and space opens up for healthier choices. What once felt impossible starts now to feel manageable. GLP-1s are not magic, and they're not a replacement for nutrition, for movement, or lifestyle. But they can change the conditions under which those things become possible. Think of them instead as a skilled trainer standing beside you. They don't lift the weights for you, they don't walk the miles for you, but they help correct the form, reduce resistance, and make the work achievable. For many people, their natural will has been locked inside a body that constantly signals hunger, urgency, and fatigue. GLP-1s don't remove responsibility, they restore agency. They allow willpower to operate inside a body that's no longer fighting back at every step. And for many, that's where real lasting change finally becomes possible and hope rises. Now I realize there is no shortage of myths around GLP-1s. So let's name them honestly, without exaggeration and without fear. So here's one. They're the easy way out. No. They address biological drivers of appetite and metabolism, much like statins address cholesterol. And here's another. They destroy your metabolism. There's no evidence for that. Metabolic slowing happens with any meaningful weight loss. In many cases, actually, GLP-1s improve insulin sensitivity. And what about this one? They cause muscle loss. Some lean mass loss can occur, as it does with all weight loss, but it's manageable, and adequate protein and resistance training help. And then we have this one. They're unsafe or too new. GLP-1 medications have been used since 2005, and they're supported by large safety and cardiovascular outcome trials. Are there risks? Yes, for a small minority of people. And that's exactly why medical supervision matters. This is not solo sailing. There are some hidden reefs. Dose matters, titration matters, side effect management matters, your individual history matters. But a good physician helps navigate gastrointestinal side effects, gallbladder risk during rapid weight loss, and these rare contraindications. When done thoughtfully, the risks of GLP-1 therapy must be weighted against the very real and very well documented risks of untreated metabolic disease. This is not about fearlessness. It's about wisdom. And when wisdom guides the process, clarity, not anxiety, tends to follow. So as this year begins, here's the invitation. Not to punish your body, not to shame yourself into change, not to repeat resolutions the biology has already vetoed, but to ask a better question. What is my body actually defending? And what signals might help it change? When metabolism is dysregulated, the body protects the status quo. Fighting that rarely works. But when we understand the biology and use the right tools, the body can begin to move with us and not against us. For some, those tools will be lifestyle alone. For others, medications like GLP-1s that can be appropriate and transformative. And for a few, they may not be the right fit. This channel exists to explore the science, to speak honestly about the fears and offer hope grounded in biology, not willpower or wishful thinking. If this conversation has been helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts below. I do read every comment, and I'll do my best to respond. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. If you'd like to continue the journey, consider subscribing. Until next time, stay curious and be at peace. This is George with GLP-1s for Seniors. I'll see you next time.